Nestled in the Western Pyrenees, Ochagavía is one of Navarre's most picturesque villages. Its stone houses, steep roofs, and medieval bridge over the Anduña River create a scene straight out of a postcard. Nearby, the Irati Forest and Mount Orji attract hikers and nature lovers year-round. Ochagavía, a historical portrait of Navarre's timeless mountain village. Nestled in the Western Pyrenees, Ochagavía stands as one of the most picturesque and historically rich villages in northern Spain. Located within the autonomous community of Navarre, this small settlement embodies centuries of cultural continuity, architectural heritage, and deep ties to its natural environment. Though home to fewer than 500 residents today, Ochagavía's story stretches back many centuries, shaped by geography, tradition, and the rhythms of rural life in the Pyrenees. Geographic roots and early settlement. Ochagavía lies in the lush Salazar Valley, a region historically known for pastoralism, forestry, and cross-Pyrenean trade. The valley's fertile land and strategic position between mountain passes made it attractive for early settlers, likely as far back as the medieval period, though archaeological evidence suggests human presence in the surrounding area much earlier. The village developed along the banks of the Anduña River, whose steady flow provided water for agriculture, milling, and domestic life. Rivers in the Pyrenean region were essential lifelines, shaping settlement patterns and local economies. In Ochagavía, the river also influenced urban layout, with houses clustered along narrow streets that followed the terrain and watercourse. Medieval foundations and architectural identity. By the Middle Ages, Ochagavía had begun to take on the character that still defines it today. Stone houses with steeply pitched roofs designed to shed heavy winter snow line the village streets, reflecting practical adaptations to the mountain climate. The architecture is notable for its uniformity. Thick masonry walls, wooden balconies, and gabled roofs create a cohesive aesthetic that feels almost frozen in time. A defining landmark is the medieval stone bridge spanning the Anduña River. Bridges were vital infrastructure in medieval Pyrenean communities, facilitating trade and communication between isolated valleys. This bridge not only connected parts of the village, but symbolized Ochagavía's role as a local hub within the Salazar Valley. During this period, the Kingdom of Navarre played a significant role in regional politics, and villages like Ochagavía contributed to the kingdom's rural economy. Agriculture, livestock herding, and forestry formed the backbone of local livelihoods, with seasonal rhythms dictating daily life. Early modern period, tradition and continuity. From the 16th to the 18th centuries, Ochagavía remained relatively isolated compared to Spain's urban centers, yet this isolation helped preserve its traditions. Local governance structures, communal land systems, and religious institutions shaped social life. Parish churches served not only as spiritual centers, but also as meeting places where communal decisions were made. The village's cultural identity strengthened during this era, particularly through festivals and dance traditions that reinforced community bonds. Oral histories, songs, and rituals passed from generation to generation, forming a living archive of Pyrenean heritage. Cultural heritage, the danzantes de Ochagavía. One of Ochagavía's most distinctive traditions is the performance of the danzantes de Ochagavía, a dance troupe whose origins date back at least to the 17th century. Every September, dancers dressed in white costumes with colorful sashes perform choreographed routines featuring sticks and rhythmic footwork. These dances are more than entertainment. They represent a cultural memory of the community, blending religious devotion, seasonal celebration, and local identity. The endurance of this tradition illustrates how small rural communities can maintain intangible heritage even as the modern world transforms around them. Economy in the 19th century. The 19th century brought gradual changes to Ochagavía. Improvements in transportation connected the valley more closely to regional markets, allowing agricultural products and timber to reach broader audiences. Yet, industrialization largely bypassed the village, meaning its economy remained rooted in traditional practices.
Seasonal migration also became common, with some residents leaving temporarily for work in larger towns or across the border in France. This pattern supported households economically while reinforcing cultural ties to the homeland. Natural landscape and environmental significance. Ochagavía's surroundings have always been integral to its identity. Nearby lies the expansive Irati Forest, one of Europe's largest and best-preserved beech and fir forests. For centuries, the forest provided timber, grazing land, and hunting grounds, shaping the valley's economy and way of life. Equally prominent is Mount Orhi, rising just over 2,000 meters. Historically, mountains like Orhi marked seasonal migration routes for shepherds practicing transhumance, the movement of livestock between summer and winter pastures. These practices created a deep cultural connection between people and landscape, one still celebrated in local folklore. The 20th century, change and preservation. The 20th century introduced modernization, improved roads, and new economic opportunities, but also population decline as younger generations moved to cities. Like many rural European communities, Ochagavía faced the challenge of maintaining vitality while preserving heritage. Tourism gradually emerged as an important economic pillar. Visitors drawn by the village's architecture, cultural traditions, and proximity to natural attractions helped sustain local businesses. However, development remained relatively modest, allowing Ochagavía to retain its authentic character. Efforts to protect historic buildings and landscapes gained momentum in the latter half of the century. Restoration projects ensured that traditional houses and public spaces were maintained using original materials and techniques whenever possible. Winter in Ochagavía, landscape and lifestyle. Winter transforms Ochagavía into a serene alpine setting. Snow blankets rooftops and surrounding hills, accentuating the village's architectural harmony. Historically, winter was a season of relative isolation, when communities relied on stored food, communal cooperation, and indoor crafts. Today, winter tourism highlights the tranquility of the season while offering activities such as hiking, snowshoeing, and photography. The quiet atmosphere contrasts with the bustle of larger ski resorts, appealing to travelers seeking authenticity and calm. Ochagavía in the 21st century. In recent decades, Ochagavía has balanced preservation with adaptation. Sustainable tourism initiatives emphasize environmental protection and cultural respect. Local authorities and residents work together to maintain traditions while welcoming visitors from around the world. The village also represents a broader trend across rural Europe, rediscovering the value of heritage, landscape, and slow living. As urbanization accelerates globally, places like Ochagavía offer insight into alternative ways of life rooted in community and environment. Cultural identity and community life. Despite its small population, Ochagavía maintains a strong sense of collective identity. Festivals, religious celebrations, and communal gatherings remain central to social life. Local cuisine featuring regional cheeses, meats, and seasonal produce reflects centuries-old culinary traditions tied to the land. Language also plays a role in cultural preservation, with both Spanish and Basque influences shaping local heritage. This linguistic diversity mirrors the broader historical complexity of Navarre, a region where multiple cultural currents intersect. Legacy and significance. Ochagavía's enduring charm lies not only in its scenic beauty, but in its ability to preserve a coherent sense of place. Its architecture, traditions, and landscapes form a living tapestry of Pyrenean history. While small in size, the village encapsulates themes central to European rural heritage: resilience, adaptation, and continuity. For historians and travelers alike, Ochagavía offers a window into the past, an opportunity to experience how geography, culture, and community intertwine across centuries. Its story reminds us that history is not only found in grand cities and monuments, but also in quiet villages where traditions endure.